Polygons. A polygon is formed by a closed polygonal line and the space inside it. To understand what that means, watch this straight line become a polygonal line as it forms several sides which eventually close. And what do you see? A polygon. Easy, right? A polygon is made of several elements. The side is each one of the segments that form the polygon. The vertex is the point where two sides meet, a corner, and the angle is the space formed between two sides that meet at a point. There are many kinds of polygon, so we classify them in different ways. The first classification we can make is if they are regular or irregular polygons. A polygon is regular if all its sides and angles measure the same as each other. In these images you can see all the polygons are regular, the sides and the angles are the same. On the other hand, these polygons are irregular because their sides and angles are not equal. Another way to classify polygons is by the number of sides they have. Polygons with 3 sides are called triangles. Those with 4 sides are called quadrilaterals. And with 5 sides they're called pentagons. With 6 sides, hexagons, and so on. There are many more. Now let's find the polygons in these pictures. Look carefully. Can you see any polygons? Good. As you can see, the pyramid, the boat sails, these buildings, and the panels of this hive where bees make their sweet honey are all polygons. So, let's remember the important things about polygons. A polygon is formed by a closed polygonal line and the space inside it. A polygon has several elements: sides, corners or vertices, and angles. A polygon is regular if all its sides are the same length and all its angles are equal. And a polygon is irregular if the sides or angles are not equal. Polygons can be classified by the number of sides they have. If they have 3 sides, they're triangles. If they have 4 sides, they're quadrilaterals. If they have 5 sides, they're pentagons. And if they have 6 sides, they're hexagons. So, now we know about polygons. Interesting, don't you think?
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
Triangles are polygons with 3 sides. See? 1, 2, 3. But there are different kinds of triangles, and we classify them by the length of their sides. Using this classification, we get 3 types of triangles: isosceles, equilateral, and scalene. In equilateral triangles, all the sides are the same length. Can you see how it's formed? Good. So this triangle is equilateral because its 3 sides are exactly the same. In an isosceles triangle, 2 sides are the same length and 1 is different. See how it's formed? Great! So this is an isosceles triangle with 2 equal sides and 1 different one. And finally, let's look at a scalene triangle. All 3 sides are a different length, see? Easy, eh? A scalene triangle is the one with 3 different length sides. None of its sides are equal. Maybe if they didn't have such strange names, it'd be easier to remember them. So let's look again, just so we don't forget. All triangles have 3 sides. and depending on the length of their sides, they can be classified like this. An equilateral triangle, all three sides are equal in length. An isosceles triangle, two sides are the same length and one is different. And a scalene triangle, all three sides are different in length. Easy, right?
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
The word polyhedron comes from Latin, poly, meaning many, and hedro, faces, so its name tells us that polyhedrons have many faces. Polyhedrons are geometric bodies formed by several polygons. They have volume, that is, they occupy space in 3 dimensions, width, length, and height. A very important thing that you also have to know about polyhedrons is that they are formed by 3 different elements: faces, vertices, and edges. Observe this building and we will go discovering the 3 elements. As you can see, this building is a polyhedron formed by quadrilaterals, which are polygons with 4 sides. Well, faces are the polygons that make up the polyhedron. The edges are the sides of the faces, and the vertices are the points where 3 or more faces meet. Now, observe this pyramid of Egypt, and we will discover its faces, vertices, and edges. Easy, eh? Polyhedrons can be classified in many ways, but there are 2 types that we have to know. They are the prisms and the pyramids. The prisms have 2 polygonal bases, and the number of sides of the bases are called triangular prism if it has 3 sides, quadrangular prism if it has 4 sides, pentagonal if it has 5, hexagonal if it has 6, and so on, to infinity and beyond. The pyramids have a single base and a common vertex where the edges of the lateral faces meet, so it is clear that the lateral faces will always be triangular. Like the prisms, they are called by the number of sides their base has: triangular, quadrangular, pentagonal pyramid, etc. Polyhedrons have infinite shapes and sizes. If you look around us, there are many polyhedrons. We are surrounded by them, don't you think?
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
A circumference and circles. A circumference is a closed curve where all points are at the same distance from the center. See it? Here, we can observe that all points on the circumference are at the same distance to the center. If it wasn't like that, it wouldn't be a circumference, but rather something strange, don't you think? Well, now we know what a circumference is, it is really easy to understand what a circle is, as a circle is a circumference and its interior. Perfect! Presenting a red circle. Simple, isn't it? And now let's learn about the elements that make up a circumference. The center is the point which is at the same distance to any other point from the circumference. The diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. Perfect! This segment is the diameter. And the radius of a circle is the distance from the center of a circle to any point on the circle. Fantastic! These are the three most important elements in a circumference: the center, diameter, and radius. But there are another three elements we should learn about. The chord is a line between 2 points on the circumference which does not go through the center. The arc is the part of the circumference which is in between 2 points. And the circular sector is the proportion of the circle which is inside the area which lies in between 2 radiuses and the arc. It looks like a slice of cheese, doesn't it? Well, now we know all the elements in a circumference. But let's go over them one more time so we don't forget. Let's start with the first 3 most important ones: the center, diameter, and radius. And now the next 3: chord, arc, and circular sector, which is the one that looks like cheese.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.
Look at these images. Do you know what we're looking at? Exactly! They are angles. And today, we are going to learn many things about them. An angle is a space between 2 intersecting lines or surfaces that emerge from the same point, called vertex. If you look around, we are surrounded by angles, like the ones this clock handles. Or an ice cream cone makes. The unit of measure of the angles is the degree. And the most important angle of all is this one. It's called a right angle and it measures 90 degrees. The tiny 0 you can see in the right upper part of the number 90 is a symbol that represents all angles. We say that a right angle is the most important one because it is the one that is used to compare all of the other angles. The angles that are smaller than a right angle are called acute angles, and they measure less than 90 degrees, like all of these. And the angles that are bigger than a right angle are called obtuse angles and measure more than 90 degrees, like all of these. To know the degrees that an angle measures, we need to use this instrument, which is called a protractor. So, we need to place the straight part of the protractor over one of the sides of the angle, making the vertex and the central point of the protractor meet. After this, we need to look at the protractor line on the other side of the angle and look at what number it says. These are the degrees that an angle measures. Easy peasy, huh? Let's practice! We said that a right angle is 90 degrees. Let's see. We'll get the protractor and indeed! A right angle is 90 degrees. We haven't fooled you, huh? Now, let's measure this angle. Let's see how much it measures. 45 degrees! It's an acute angle because it is smaller than a right angle. And now, we're going to check out how much this other angle measures. 120 degrees! Of course! It's an obtuse angle because it measures more than 90 degrees. Imagine that instead of being 120, it measures 180. Do you know what this angle is called? We call it a straight angle. Hey, and what about if it measures 360 degrees? Well, that's a complete or full angle. It's complete as can be. A circumference measures 360 degrees. What a discovery! Measuring angles is easy peasy and fun, don't you think?
Great! You've completed the video. Now continue the route with the reading card, the video game, and the activity.
Presenting the line, the ray, and the segment. Oh, sorry, Mr. Point. I forgot about you. And let's not forget the point. The point is a dot. Yes, the one you already know. The one you draw with the point of a pencil. It is very important to determine whether it is a line, a ray, or a segment. The point is written with a capital letter. Any letter, really. This very angry point is point A. When a bunch of points join together and go in the same direction, they form a straight line. The line is just that, a continuous line that has no beginning and no end. What does this mean? That it is infinite. Wherever it is, it never stops. It always continues from one side to the other. Yes, I know it's hard to imagine. If you wanted to draw it as it is, it would take up all the pages of the notebooks in the world. So it's usually represented by a line with two little arrows on either end to imply that if you wanted to, you could go on and on. Lines are named with lowercase letters. I have called this line R because it is red. Hello, line R. Now, if we cut this line with a point, what happens? Mr. Point A, can you cut this line, please? What happens is that we now have two rays. Why? Because a ray is each one of the two parts into which a line is divided from a point. Yes, the ray has a definite point of origin, which in this case is point A, but it can stretch to infinity and beyond. Now that we know the ray, let's go back to our line. Suppose we cut it into 2 points. Mr. Point A, can you call a colleague? Thank you. Hello, Point B. Can you please stand on the line? This infinite line is cut by 2 points. Point A and Point B. What is in the middle is called a segment. A segment that we're going to call AB. A segment is the part of a line that has a starting point and ending point. Well, we've already met the line, the ray, and the segment. And the point, of course. Let's not forget the point. Remember at the beginning I said that this trio was everywhere? Look here, on the line that divides the land from the sea, on the edge of the buildings, on the train tracks, on the lampposts, on the lines of the notebook. Wherever you look, there are lines, rays, and segments. And now let's review. A line is a continuous line, which has no beginning and no end.
A ray is each of the parts into which a line is divided from a point. It has a beginning, but no end. A segment is the part of a line that has a starting point and an ending point. And remember the points, which sometimes are very angry. Let's see if you have understood. On this string, which is a straight line, I'm going to put this close peg. Now, it's 2 rays. Very good. And if I put this other one here, it's a segment. Perfect. And now I'm going to quickly finish hanging up the clothes before I go out and play. Goodbye, friends. See you until the next video.
Search us and subscribe to Happy Learning's YouTube channel.